What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Casual Pros Podcast. My name is Rukari Austin, and next to me is Jeff Easterling, and we are here to give you random musings that pass through our mind, mostly because we have fun talking to one another, but hopefully because we provide something insightful to you. In today's episode, it's all about sports. If our attire could not give that away, or did not give that away. Jeff and I
we wear a lot of this stuff normally.
Yeah. If you haven't seen us on any sort of social media site, then you're missing out. Jeff and I are huge sports fans, sports advocates, have our favorite teams and whatnot. We're going to share that love of sports with you today, whether you like it or not.
It's true.
Whether you like it or not.
That's a lot of sports, I feel like, is whether you like it or not. It's just, there are people who really like it, people who don't, and then people who are like, I do it socially.
Well, I think of like...
I like go to Super Bowl parties or something.
Yeah, that's just true. I think of given our careers, what the demographic, since we're so stuck in numbers and who likes what, given the demographic of our like Twitter accounts and Twitter followings, I hate when giant sports games comes up because usually my timeline is filled with, that sports ball thing is on. So this episode is made for you. You're the people we're coming after.
That's true.
Whether you like it or not. So Jeff, I guess the easiest way to do this is tell me, who are your favorite teams and why? And maybe we go by major sports. So
I think we can do that.
Let's start with the favorites.
Yeah. Okay. For major sports, for football, NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were always my home team.
And I'm sorry, is football your favorite sport? You led with it. That's why I was asking.
I felt like it was maybe the most approachable.
Okay.
Football and racing would be my favorite sport. But from a traditional major sports standpoint, it would be football and baseball are right there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Bucs.
But the Bucs. I was born and raised in Tampa. They were usually really bad when I was growing up. So in order to like them, you really had to be there and like them. And then they had some great runs in the late 90s, early 2000s, were one of the more dominant teams, especially on the defense side of the ball. And that's a legacy that's still felt today in the sports war, or in the NFL with some of those defenses. They still call it the Tampa 2 that a lot of those defenses run. Seattle Seahawks are right there. Both teams, by the way, came into the league together, actually. They were sister franchises. 1976 were their first years in the league. And I remember, actually, there's pictures of me growing up, at 8, 9 years old with, full, Seahawks uniforms and stuff like that. I loved the Seahawks. I really, I had a Bucks one, a Seahawks one, and a Raiders one. My dad's old favorite team before the Bucks were a thing were the Raiders. So we just always kind of had a soft spot for them. And then, do you ever have those teams, too, that you just like for maybe no good reason or no apparent reason? That's the Bengals for me, the Cincinnati Bengals. I really like. Is
it because of their jerseys?
I think part of it is,
logo?
Especially as a kid, I'm like, my favorite animal is a tiger, and my favorite color is orange, and you guys look awesome. And also, when I was a kid, that was when, Ickey Woods, Boomer Esiason, Sam Weiss is their coach. They had some really good years then, too, and so I think they were a lot of fun to watch, especially if you, during those years, the Bucks and also the Seahawks weren't super great, and so you have that. But I have a couple Bengal jerseys. But those are the Bucks and the Seahawks for sure are my top two. And I've got long family. My sister is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers cheerleader for the last 3 years. My brother, one of my brothers, is a Sports Illustrated writer for the Bucks. So we have super strong family connections with them as well. But that would be for football. How about
what about MLB?
MLB. The Rays and the Mariners and the Braves.
So why the Rays and the Mariners?
So
they weren't sister franchises.
I'm a big supporter, of you root for your home team, where you live. And so I lived in Tampa, root for the Rays. Live in Seattle, root for the Mariners.
All right.
But the Rays were only a team since 98. So I liked baseball before then. So the closest team really was the Braves. So I have a lot of family in Georgia and Alabama.
John Maddox.
And so, Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Avery, what a friggin' pitching lineup. But so especially the 90s, early 90s all the way through, big Braves fan, but Griffey Jr. was my favorite player.
Okay.
And so
yeah,
I played baseball, and so like I'm like everything, like the backwards hat, the bubble gum, I had the shoes, like the cleats, the batting gloves, like all the Griffey stuff. And so I liked the Mariners because he played for the Mariners. So it's funny. It's another kind of Seattle sport connection that had nothing to do with me really, but it was a cool. So, and then once the Rays became a team, again, that's our home team. So that's who we root for. So,
what about NBA?
So NBA, and I mentioned this when we did our episode about Kobe. I actually was always a Lakers fan. Because my dad was a Lakers fan. My dad played basketball. Jerry West was his favorite player. And growing up, I watched the Magic Johnson, Kareem era Lakers. I kind of liked the Magic, too, when they became a team because they were kind of home-ish.
Close. An
team,
hour
close
and a half
enough.
away.
And I loved the Penny Hardaway Shaq days.
Do you remember Little Penny?
The
Chris
early
Rock,
ones.
Little Penny?
Yeah. So that was cool. But I haven't watched as much basketball
Okay.
since then. So I still root for the Lakers, and I root for Seattle getting the team back so that I have a Sonics. Especially that would be cool too, because then it would be, I can kind of also jump in on a ground floor from that. That would be cool.
So hockey, I expect you to love the Rays.
Yes, that's true. Hockey is the Rays.
Oh, no, the Lightning. The Lightning.
Yep, it's the Lightning. Yeah, definitely a big Bolts fan. Huge
funny is I
Lightning
saw
fan.
a bolt in my head, and I just went to the Devil Rays.
Oh, yeah.
I just went right there. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning, absolutely love. My wife and I are big hockey fans. And again, that's another one that Seattle is getting a team.
One.
Yeah, so I am super excited.
Might be named the Kraken.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's fine. I'm fine with that. The Kraken is better than Sockeye.
Oh, please no.
Yeah, or
Don't name us.
Metropolitans. No. Fun fact, though, Seattle was the first team to win the Stanley Cup in America. They were the first American team. Mm-hmm. The Metropolitans
Not many people knew that Seattle had an NHL team.
Early 1900s. And so that's cool. It's a neat legacy, but I don't want to name Metropolitans. It's stupid.
No, please no.
Yeah.
Does that cover the major sports? Well, then there's of course soccer.
Yeah, soccer. Sounders. Big Sounders fan. I'm a big so Tampa had an MLS team named the Mutiny. They were there for goodness, maybe a decade. And it was during the MLS's earlier days, so franchises just weren't as stable. But Tampa Bay has a long time soccer franchise, professional soccer franchise that my dad used to go and watch, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, that are also still really successful. They won the NASL championship in 71 or 72, like in their first year. And my dad remembers watching them play against like when Pele was playing.
Oh, wow.
Like the New York Cosmos and stuff. Yeah. And so they're still a team now doing really well. In fact, the first Sounders game I ever watched was in the U.S. Open Cup when they came down to Tampa and played, and the Rowdies beat them 1-0. And the Sounders had dominated that tournament. It was a kind of a crazy upset victory. But watched them. It was 2013. But yeah, I mean, once I was up here, especially like big Sounders fans. Sounders fans. The games are easy to go to, easy to watch. I love watching soccer in person. So yeah.
So Lightning, Rays,
Yep.
Bucks. I mean, I get the Hawks.
Yep.
Magic, but more so Lakers.
Yep.
And I know there's one that has nothing to do with Florida. Your favorite college football team, sir?
Yeah, Alabama. I love it, and that's not a front-running thing. I don't care whether you think it is or not. So my dad was born in Alabama. His dad was born in Alabama. You know, like
I didn't realize. Okay,
yeah, all of my family really, like on my dad's side, and tons of them are still there. They're all like heavy Alabama, and so even though we were born in Florida, like our dad raised us right and raised us to watch Alabama. Also, a lot of like University of Florida fans were just really jerks. They're kind of obnoxious.
Sports fans are
not all,
insufferable.
but and so they, when I was go to kindergarten and first grade and had an Alabama shirt on, they would get made fun of, and I was like, well, that's
scoreboard.
Yeah. But I watched them win their first national championship in '92 against the Hurricanes. I was over at a friend of mine's house.
The Hurricanes, who tied for a national championship the year before, right?
Yes, with UW. Yep. So it was the next year they played in the Sugar Bowl, and Hurricanes were supposed to demolish Alabama, and the opposite happened. And so they won that. That was the first one I saw. And then with Saban, we've had a really good run, obviously, this past decade, probably the most dominant dynasty in the history of the sport. But, yeah, we have to enjoy it while it lasts because it won't last forever. We're already seeing potentially some of it turn to, you see, like Dabo Sweeney, Alabama alumni, by the way. Dabo was actually a wide receiver on that 92 championship winning team that I
did not realize
watched.
that.
Yep. But you see, like, the Clemsons, and now LSU had a fantastic year, obviously, this year. And before Saban, there were a lot of really, really bad years, too. So it's like it comes in cycles. The Hurricanes were a super, super dominant force for a while, and then were really pretty awful. The Seminoles, too, were that way. Oklahoma has gone up and down. Michigan has gone up and down. Notre Dame.
The Seminoles were like, Dion?
Yeah. So yes, you can enjoy it while it lasts, but big fan. Yeah, went and took my daughter to go see the Alabama-Michigan game in Orlando, the bowl game recently, so which is really awesome.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. How about yourself? Is it all Seattle?
Mine's easy. Mine's all Seattle. Like, again, you go with what you know at home.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely, for sure.
But I've lived here for all 33, almost 34 years of my life, so that's the sports that I know.
I have a question. Do you root for the Blazers now without a Seattle team?
It's weird. Without a Seattle team.
Did you root for Oklahoma?
Hell no.
Okay.
Because they're still not us. It feels weird to say that, but there were so many things I associated and attributed to the Sonics that even seeing different colors and a logo, it doesn't feel like ours. I am not one of the people that will say we were robbed. Because we were not robbed.
Business,
it was like our girlfriend saying, I'm going to go hang out with this guy for a bit, but I swear we're just hanging, like it's nothing that's wild. And then when they got taken, it was like, motherfucker, you didn't see this playing out? Our attendance was low.
That's what's happening. I think that's what's slowly happening to my Rays. So.
Somebody came in from Oklahoma City, the city that hosted the New Orleans Nets after Hurricane Katrina.
Yep.
And realized that they could support a franchise.
Yep.
And you mean to tell me he happened to buy a team that had low attendance and talks of moving and said, this is what he said, by the way, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep the team here in Seattle.
He just didn't have a lot of power, apparently.
Everybody goes, he promised to keep them in Seattle. I said, no. He said he would do everything in his power.
Yeah.
He tried. What's the definition of try? I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
What is his power? Anyway.
Also, how many games did those people go to?
Oh, God. I was at a lot of those last games. Actually, last season, I was rooting for Boston because Ray Allen got traded to them.
Okay.
And that's when that big three happened. And I was rooting for them because they were just fun to watch. They played defense. They were hard-nosed. And it was Ray Allen, and the Sonics weren't going to win. So I was still going to their games and watching Boston because they were just fun. Like, they were absolutely fun. But after that, my basketball love, while still prevalent, fell off in that I don't watch as much anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have...
Can you watch it for fun more now because it's lower stakes?
Yes and no, but I just don't have the reason to really care.
Yeah.
I love basketball, so I will watch big games and all that. And sometimes I'll just, if I'm sitting here and playing my Xbox or dicking around on the computer, I'll have a game on here, and I'm kind of paying attention.
Yeah.
Emily always laughs at me because she's like, whenever you're on Instagram, like, if I ever want to look at what you're doing, this is basketball. Oh, there's a girl. Wait, that's Rachel Nichols. She talks about basketball. Swear to God.
So it's Sue Bird. Yeah.
So I get my basketball in different mediums now.
Yeah.
We talked about this briefly, maybe in one or two episodes. Back in 2007, I'm 20 years old, about to turn 21. I was working at T-Mobile at the time, and I had 3 weeks of vacation, which they would not cash out. So they said, you have to take it. I'm like, well, that kills you when you get paid by commission and your hourly is like, a tenth of your check. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty much taking the month off. And I was like, what the hell do I do? Sonics were still around, by the way. And I'm looking at one of my buddies, BJ. And I say, BJ's from South Central LA. And I was like, he goes, we should go to Portland and see a game. I was like, well, hell yeah, I got time. We can do whatever we want. That's 3 hours away. I was like, man, we should drive to LA. And he goes, yeah, okay, let's do it. That was the first moment, one of the first moments. The first moment I realized I was an adult is when I was coming home from a friend's house at 3 a.m. and I went to call my dad to tell him I was on the way home. And I was like, wait a minute, I live on my own. I'm 18 at the time. And I was like, I live on my own. I don't have to do this. This was probably the second adult moment where I went, I can go to LA.
Just
I can
just right now, just because.
I looked on my computer, Seattle played on like, I think, what did our weeks go? I think was Saturday, Sunday the end of our week, or maybe it was Sunday was the beginning. I think Friday, Seattle played. Saturday, Portland. Sunday was Sacramento. And then I think we had a day. Tuesday was Oakland or Golden State, who now plays in San Francisco proper. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Lakers, Clippers. And I'm like, oh my God. So we're 20 years old, and I was like, well, let's just go see all of these games in all of these stadiums, buy the cheap seats. So we do a road trip. And we started in Seattle, went back home, and then drove to Portland. Before the game, we would go play basketball at 24 Hour Fitness.
Yeah.
And shower there. So we would be fresh, come out of there fresh, sleep in the car. So we did that for a couple more days. When we got to LA, we got to redo all of our laundry.
That's crazy.
And we were good. And then
how many games total? 5, 6, 7?
Seattle, Portland. We saw the Nets so many fucking times. I was so mad about it. Because they were on their West Coast road trip. Seattle, Portland, Sacramento, Golden State, LA. And then we found out, as we were still there, what time? Phoenix, Denver, Utah.
Yeah.
And did that and came home. We also got...
You drive the whole way?
Drove the whole way. Slept in the car. Just did shifts. Played basketball at 24 Hour Fitnesses because they were countrywide.
That's so funny.
And would shower at the gyms and then go to a coin op.
Yeah.
Coin op, wash our laundry, and go home. So that has created this thing where now I kind of want to just go see every NBA stadium.
Yeah.
In high school, I went to Minnesota.
Okay.
For a high school leadership conference, and we saw the Target Center. PAX one year, and it was on my birthday. Jeff Green, who used to play in Seattle, was playing for the Celtics, and we have friends that know him and whatnot, so we reached out, left me tickets, so I saw a game in the Garden. Cool. I was pissed because the Xbox One X launch in New York, some guys went to Madison Square Garden, and I was like, fuck, you didn't tell me more! And then, this past week when I was in Miami, I stopped in Orlando and saw a game. Saw one in Tampa.
You saw a Spurs game recently, too.
I was in
San Antonio,
PAX
right?
South.
Yeah.
I went to San Antonio, and I did that. I need to do Dallas. I was in Dallas, and they weren't playing yet. But I'm trying to hit every stadium. I'm trying to do that with NFL, too. But NBA, I think I'm like 16 or 17 in now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That is crazy. This year, I saw the Bucks play 3 times in 2 states, 2 countries. Because my dad and I flew to London to watch them play out there, and then they played in Seattle. So we went. You were at that game too. My brother flew up. So wife and brother, you and yours name together. Like we all went to that game, and then when we went down for holidays, we watched them play the Texans. Actually, funny enough. We had a fan event for work in Houston, and we all went to the Texans-Lions game earlier that year. Yes. And so
I was in Houston, too, but I was earlier in the week.
Somehow I went to 4 NFL games. I saw the Texans twice, but Seattle once.
So get this. In the last month.
Bucks 3 times.
In January, I saw the Spurs play the Heat. Yeah. Mind you, in Portland last year, I saw the Blazers play the Spurs. And then I saw the Magic play the Clippers, and then the Magic went to the Heat. So I saw the Heat twice, the Magic twice, the Spurs once, but I saw them last year too. So I'm seeing a lot of the same teams.
So do you have with the teams that you consider, what are your favorite moments from some of those teams?
Ray Allen's corner 3 when he was playing in Miami.
Okay.
Though I wanted the Spurs to win that series.
Yeah.
And when the Spurs won, I wanted the Heat to win. I'm trying to think of what other crazy ones. So the Seahawks, that actually brings me into a funny story. But the Seahawks NFC Championship against Green Bay, and the 16-0
definitely one of my favorite moments
comeback.
As well.
That was a great moment.
Them winning that year before as well.
My favorite moments. You know where I'm going with this. So look, I get that sports come and go, have an ebb and flow. I may get mad in the play, but that's usually the extent of it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments is when the Seahawks decided not to run the ball from the 1 because I had that camera set up. And I was like, let's record this. We're about to win again. And they didn't. And it was you. You hear the air get sucked from the room. And my jolly ass is like, oh, well, yep, don't win them all. And I go to turn off the camera, but you see, oh, what the
It was bad.
You're so mad.
It was real bad. Here's what's funny. I didn't see the play. I've never seen the play.
Really?
So it's in the other room. We're at that rented
that's right,
spot.
yeah.
You guys are all in there, and I'm like, I'm going to go get something real quick. I go and I get some chips or something. I hear it happen, and I just come in. I come in as they go to Sherm, who were like upset. That's when I was just like, and I was like, not watching it. And it got turned off. And now every time I see the play, like if somebody goes to replay it, I'm like, nope.
My favorite moments every year are when Duke loses in the NCAA tournament. Just going to throw that out there. Can't stand them.
The 2002 NFC Championship game, Bucks were playing the Eagles. Bucks had been bounced by the Eagles years before, consecutive years before. We would get there.
It's like not recently.
Get bounced with the Eagles.
Because that was the Eagles three-peat year.
Yeah.
Three-peat NFC Championship.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, four.
Yeah.
But they never went to the Super Bowl, right?
They went once. They went the last year and then lost the Super Bowl.
That's right.
To the Patriots. But yeah, so Bucks and Eagles, we had played earlier that year. Eagles had won. It was the last game in the old vet in that stadium. And we went up, and then Rondé Barber famously gets a pick six to seal the game. We win 27-10. We win the Super Bowl the next week or 2 weeks. So seeing the Tampa Bay win the Super Bowl is definitely right up there. Beating the Eagles may have been better. We closed the vet down, and then we went the season opener the next year was on Monday night, Sunday night or Monday night. I think Monday night. Opened up the new vet and shut them out that game too. So we were the last game in the old vet, the first game in the new vet. Won both of them.
Did you believe the Super Bowl was happening? Because I think you guys put it on. Who'd you play?
The Raiders.
Didn't you put it on them?
Oh yeah. The Raiders were the number one offense that year. Our defense outscored them in that game.
So much like the Seahawks being the number one defense and the Broncos
the class
being the number
of 76 rode high-scoring defenses and both beat the number one offenses that year.
Yeah.
The way the Seahawks and the way the Bucks won their Super Bowls are actually very kind of similar mirror images to each other.
Did you believe it was
awesome.
happening?
It was so weird.
Like the first half,
Super
the Seahawks, weird. I think, were up 22-0, and I'm like, well, it's
Peyton
Manning.
Bucks, I think, were up 20-3, and I was terrified.
Yes, that was me.
I was like, now if we lose, it's worse.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, and I just remember, I'm like, no, I don't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
That first safety. All right, well, it's Peyton Manning. Then we went up 8-0.
Yeah. A field goal will wipe that out.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. That happens all the time. And then 22-0, and I was
when
like,
Harvin ran the kick back,
and I was looking at people
that's when I was like,
hey, is this ass whooping? Are we passing the sticks? So, that's the Harvin kickoff return was actually more of a poignant moment for me than winning the Super Bowl.
It was Derek Brooks had a pick six that was, okay, I think there it is. And then there were two more, I think, pick sixes after it. They had 5 interceptions and returned 3 of them for touchdowns. It was, it was insane.
Another moment in greatness that's not great. Winning 116 games.
Oh, yeah.
I am not a baseball fan. Yep. I think it is a very dry, boring, antiquated sport.
Nobody's perfect.
I do acknowledge that it is a sport, though I think it is not done well to evolve. And maybe basketball and football are more
I can agree with that.
Sports of the poor, and maybe that's why I like them more, because that's how I grew up, and just baseball wasn't around. So maybe I don't have that love for it. Anyway, ignoring that, I've always loved my Mariners.
Yeah.
Now I just relate them to mediocrity. They're not bad.
Yes.
They won 116 games and then lost to the Yankees the very next series.
Yeah.
Like, got into the playoffs, lost to the Yankees.
Yep.
And since then, in 2001, we have not been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You want to know this? The Mariners, actually the Cleveland Browns, have been to the playoffs more recently than the Seattle Mariners.
I think they're the record holder. I think they're the current record holder. Yeah.
So whoever goes erases themselves from that history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Cleveland was going to go to the playoffs this year, which would mean the Mariners would have that forever. if the Astros didn't cheat all the time, I think the Mariners. So this is what pisses me off about the Mariners is we are just good enough to be bad.
Yes, you're not bad enough to get better picks, and there are football
We
teams
have a
that are like that
30-game streak.
7-9
We started
every year.
last year like 15-1.
Yep.
And hit like 16 home runs in those 16 games.
Yeah, set a record for like either the fastest to hit 20 home runs or
that too. I think it was
most home runs through 20 games or so.
And I just kept telling
like
people, I was like,
yeah.
watch, we'll be back. We'll be back. And sure enough.
Most consecutive games with a home run. I think that's what it was.
And the other fun one that's a sad day for Seattle sports, Vinny Testaverde. 1 yard short, but they called a touchdown, bringing the Jets, who were going to the playoffs, into a higher seed, dropping the Seahawks out. But it is now the reason
That's right.
we have the NFL replay.
Vinny Testaverde, who I met several times because he was the Bucks quarterback before he was the Jets quarterback. Yeah, Bucks drafted him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then actually his son played for the Bucks as a backup, and at least in preseason, I think, this year. It's funny we talk about like these moments and like how like sports is my outlet. Like I'm pretty super chill with everything else, and sports is it's I know you want it.
Do you have any negative moments? Like,
yeah, I mean, ton.
I love seeing Jeff. Jeff is the most passive aggressive and aggressive person on social media. When Alabama loses, well, we've won 37 motherfucking championships, and nobody can touch us, so you can't win them all. Fuck you, Jeff. I always look at those and roll my eyes so hard.
I think David Ellis is the one that, he always comments back on it or something like that.
To be fair, David and his Panthers, when they were good, look, we're all insufferable. Actually, so I've been going to more Seahawk road games. Because of the work that I've done in the past, I've realized how easy it is to go to. And I hate how the Seahawks chant everywhere. I hate how any team chants.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just go have fun and beat them.
Yeah.
And, Seahawk. I'm not doing that shit. I'm here. You see me. I'm dressed up. You know who I'm rooting for. I'm not doing that stupid-ass chant.
That's true. Yeah, that's how I deal. I mean, we've had similar moments of being
Frustrated.
Frustrated. Sometimes at the very same.
Fucking Blair Walsh. How do you advance in the playoffs in a game in Minnesota because their roof had collapsed and you're outside and it's negative degrees, negative temperature, negative Fahrenheit? The kicker who misses field goals in that game loses his job. And then we sign him.
Get him. Yep.
And then he misses lots.
And then we wonder why he misses.
And I think it was the Arizona game. Oh, no, I was at that one. But you and I tweeted out at the same time. He missed one, and we both tweeted it out. Fucking Blair Walsh. And that scared the shit out of me because it was Graham. AC Bongos, who was like, well, maybe if you weren't doing that to him, he'd make his field goals. I was like, shut up.
I do try. I try to be aware, at least more and more aware, especially the longer you're in an industry with you have where fans of anything can they think that they can do whatever it is that we do. And I know it's easy to be just like, man, Blair Walsh.
We try not to cuss.
I know.
We try to be good, but God, sports brings it out. So I have one, and I'm going to have to bleep this out. I'm going to say it here because this is just how it came out. NFC Championship game against Green Bay. That fourth pick, Jermaine Kearse, who ended up catching the ball that sent us to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
HoloLens was going to be announced to the world the day after that. So I had a ticket, a $700, $800 ticket to that game, and I had to resell it, basically get my money back. Because we had to do friends and family, a rehearsal, a practice run, get people to try it. And we're there, and we're watching the game in a little room. Mind you, I'm at work. I code switch real well. But sports brings out the black in me fast. That fourth pick. If this nigga don't catch the fucking ball, and the look on everybody's face. And I was like, yo, my bad. Don't get me wrong, by the end of the game, it was all jovial, but oh my, look at this. I hit my hand so hard, my watch thinks I fell. I'm okay. I did not fall. You know what's funny is Emily probably heard that shit out there.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, fucking sports. We should do a second one of these someday.
Yeah,
just gonna throw that out because I feel like we have so much more.
There is, and sports has given me so much, so many good memories as well that I absolutely love, and things that are like huge foundational parts of my life and my family. That's why we're so passionate.
So we should do another one of these.
Passionate enough to do another episode, I think.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. We're going to cut it short there
Yeah.
because I promise you, There will be a second sports episode. We'll make it happen.
There's more.
So for Jeff, I'm Rukari. Thanks much. We'll see y'all later.
Later. Just kidding.
Yeah, fuck that.
No, we
It's
We
sports.
weren't. Yeah,
We
exactly.
leave people high and dry all the time where we realize we've been rambling. And
It's
we're
only,
like,
it's only, yeah, it's funny. It's only funny that this will be our first half hour plus. It's free sports talk. Sports talk. Can't
Sports
even.
talk. Sports talk.
Sports talk.
You know what? Let's not do this now.
Nope. Let's not. I mean, but you know what? It's funny. Like sports it's the highest highs and lowest lows. And I
don't feel the lows. I don't feel the lows.
I don't feel the lows like residual.
Okay, true.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. It's like in the moment you have highest highs, lowest lows. But when I look back on things, I just look back. Like I look at like for Russell Wilson, I'm like, Russell Wilson has 2 Super Bowls. He won one, he lost one. But like for me, the fact that he had 2 Super Bowls in his first 3 years is like amazing. Like that is kind of what I think about and what I remember.
I think Russell Wilson is insufferable. And I love him as my quarterback. Nobody likes a good guy. That sounds so horrible to say.
I do. I love Russell.
Oh,
I
no.
love nerd
When
Russell.
Russell was mic'd up on Monday Night Football against the Vikings, I was like, they're going to have so much footage to use. They're going to be able to use every clip. I shit you not. We're watching the game. I think we were actually right here. And Minnesota scored first. And I was like,
great job, guys. Great job, guys. Great.
I was like, we got 48 seconds before we hear Russell come on and be like, it's all right, fellas. Let's get it on the next one. We'll get him back right here. Hey, let's take this back to him on offense. Sure fucking enough. And
Let's do this.
oh, my God.
A lot of time. Believe,
All right, guys,
believe.
No, we're good. He's going to everybody shaking hands. Shut up. Shut up. But he's damn good. So don't get me wrong. I love my quarterback.
I love that he's not like everybody else.
True. I like that.
Because I like that people normally would look at somebody who's like that and be like, nah, nice guys, they can't win it. They can't be successful. And he just does. I love that.
You know how much it would piss me off to like chase somebody down? I don't get to tackle him. He runs out of bounds. He's like, man, you almost had me right there. And he gives me a compliment.
Andrew Luck was also notorious for that too. There's a lot of clips of him getting sacked. Great job there, man.
That would drive me wild.
Good job. Gee,
what are you getting at there? See, like the lowest lows, it's weird to me because, you know, we talk about competitiveness and always wanting to win.
Yeah.
But I always see the opportunity to grow. And maybe I think the understanding is, like Emily gets mad about her Oregon Ducks. And I go, hey, do you know in the last 30 years or 35 years or even maybe a little bit more, only 15 different teams have won?
Yeah.
Like an NCAA.
Sorry.
Well, it's technically not an NCAA football championship, but that championship.
Yep.
And I go,
well, it was for a while and not to be insufferable, but like as an example of that, like there were in the 10 years, like Alabama was in 7 of the national titles. They won 5 of them. I'm like, you're taking out half of the even available teams. And then when you add in Clemson's and Ohio State's and, like things like that are also, it is afforded to very few some of the success in some of the, Patriots are another example. Like
I think I just look at it like, you don't win them all. You do what you can. You compete.
Absolutely.
You go out there and you bust your ass.
Yep.
The expectation is to win.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't look at the lows because, God, it hurts to say this, especially with what just happened to Kobe, but you're fighting again. The fight is not over.
Yeah.
This season ended.
Yep.
God damn it, I'm coming at you harder next season.
Yeah, in a way, you look at each year almost like each game. By that point, when you look back at a career, it's like...
And no one's perfect.
Yeah,
except for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like, that's really it.
Yeah, it shows, teams like the Patriots that lost to the Giants, or, and Alabama that will lose to, a Clemson, or, like, there are times where even with everything seemingly going for you, it's, nothing. And that's why my dad always says, that's why they play the game. It's like you can run all the simulations and X team should beat Y team, just mop the floor. Well, there it is. Why do you even play? Oh, that's why. I mean, I think that goes, and the one thing that we had wanted to touch on otherwise is kind of the life lessons. That's one of the things I actually love the most about sports is that there are so many valuable kind of life analogs to working, like having the work ethic that you put, the way you strive for success, or what do you do when you fail? That's when you really, the character is really built and the growth really happens. Or even working on a team, You know, like growing up playing sports, I played a lot of
What'd you
mainly
play?
baseball. I played mainly baseball, but I mean, especially like high school, I would play just anything. 'Cause I hate working out, like going to the gym or running or whatever. But like I love competing and playing sports, so I would play. I would be playing baseball on. There was a time when I was in high school, I played on 2 different teams. I played on a city team, and then I was recruited by a private school too. And so I was playing on that team as well. Constantly had both uniforms like in the car. You know, was playing basically every day, either a practice or a game. I played in a random volleyball tournament, a random basketball tournament, intramural flag football leagues, intramural ultimate frisbee leagues, like. Anything really where I could kind of compete, I would. Baseball is the primary. It was definitely what I was best at, and what I had kind of the.
I was
highest
scared of the
ceiling.
fucking ball. I never played. One, because we didn't really have it around, but
Yeah.
I did not. I could hit the ball a mile.
Yeah,
And I wasn't just hacking at stuff.
yeah.
But that once I got to the point where the ball started moving and people had more control of their pitch, and I was like, "Yo, no, I'm not trying to get hit by this.
I hit plenty.
I can't throw the ball. I
Okay.
can throw a football about 65
It
yards.
is different. Yeah, it is a different
I
throwing.
can throw a basketball from
Yeah.
full court and
Yeah.
at least hit the glass damn near every time, like one hand launch it.
Yeah,
I can't throw a baseball and control it to save my life.
that's amazing.
I'm like, what do I do with this little? I can imagine CC
It's a
Sabathia
marble?
throwing a ball like 6'8". Like what the hell?
Tall guys on the mound, man. That's crazy. I remember hearing a story. I think it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar who played Little League Baseball when he was a kid. And at 10 years old or 12 years old, I think he was 6'10" and a pitcher. So, I mean, like, oh, yeah, take this kid and put him on a hill now. I'm like, Little League, man, you're not even all that far away from the plate. You just reach over and drop it. Like, yeah, that's tall guys on the mound.
Actually, I knew
man.
a 6'8" guy. His name was Nate Shakirik. We called him Shrek because he was Big Nate.
Yeah.
He was big. He looked like Shrek. His name looked like Shrek. He was left-handed and was a pitcher and had heat. And he was like, yeah, I should probably just go play more baseball. He was a great baseball player. Like, he was multi-sport. And we were like, yeah, stop this basketball shit. Like, that's not going to work.
Scariest pitches ever to hit, and I played against guys who eventually played in the majors, guys that were throwing high 90s easy in high school, girl softball pitchers. Terrifying.
Really?
Yes, because they look like wizards with their weird twirly
I'm sorry,
wind
the one
up
around
thing
and then
and like coming out from underneath, and it is so fast and like has so much movement. I have like so much, not like more respect, but different respect, like for people who hit fast pitch softball pitching, because like I watch baseball and I'm like, okay, all right, good, yeah, and the movement and could get on that, and then I go and watch like college women's softball tournaments. I like watching, or also like the Olympics when they play, and it's like, what in the world? Like this witchcraft, like weird tornado move, and the ball just shoots out, and it's insane. That to me is like so ridiculously impressive.
Since we're on the topic of crazy abilities in sports and whatnot, I always think of, if I could have just been center field and not had to throw the ball in,
Yeah.
I would have been a great baseball player.
Yeah.
Because
Long legs, giant wingspan, reach.
6'9", fingertip to fingertip, had a 38-inch vertical.
Pull the Griffies over the walls.
I always thought that catching the baseball, the diving catches and all that, I hate to say it, I think those are easy. But then I realize I'm blessed with that ability. I used to be like, yeah, it's easy to jump and catch a ball. Imagine running full speed, jumping and catching that ball and throwing it into a hoop at the same time with other big old 7-foot people trying to stop you from doing that. That used to be my favorite thing, is like when you go play home run derby.
Yeah.
I used to go try to rob people.
Oh, yeah.
And I could do it all the time. And people were like, how in the world? I got a ball at a Mariners game. Batting practice, though. It was BP. It was early. And they hit one, and it hit the warning track, and that bitch was moving. And it hit the ground and shot this way, and I snagged it out of the air.
Yeah.
And then a second one came, and I grabbed that, and they're like, these hands. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what you do, right? And they're like, you don't get that. And I was like, I got to remember that. Not everybody has that talent, and it is different. But that's the one that always cracked me up. I think of that as we talk about my disdain for baseball, which isn't really disdain. It's just not a preference.
Yeah. It is a different game. It's different watching it on TV, too, than being there. I like it from a cerebral standpoint.
Being there, I'm always intoxicated, and
because
it's great.
Like, you're all, well, I like being there because I like being able to see everything going on, because I'll watch I'll be like, oh, no, I see where the shortstop is shading over. Oh, no, they're playing the shift over here. Like, oh, runner is here. Tendencies are this way. I see where they're like, it's like watching my brother, who's a sports writer for, for NFL stuff. I'll watch games with him. We were at the UW game, and they're going in, and he looks, and he literally like calls out the play, and he was like, he has isolated here. He's just checked down here. All he needs this corner right here, and the exact play, and he throws and he gets a touchdown, and I'm just like, it's amazing. Like watching.
That's me in basketball.
Yeah,
football.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn.
And that's me in baseball. Yeah,
basketball. I'm like, oh, here they come. He should rotate here. Here comes the lob.
Yeah.
And then you hear everybody go, oh. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, catch up. We got to catch up. We know this is here.
I think that there is something about sports. And, when we did the episode about Kobe, like that, I think also it helps it hit home in a way, is that sports are transcendent in a lot. It's a very social thing. Things like the Super Bowl, things like certain, comebacks or things in a World Series or the Olympics, the World Cup. Like there are elements of sports that bring together people, even that don't watch it all of the time, because you have maybe a vested rooting interest in a story, and a Cinderella story, a comeback thing, a hometown or a nationality, rooting for your country in an Olympics or a World Cup. There's something about like kind of the attachment there that does transcend. And sports is interesting too, because you can kind of like, it's defined by the times and the eras that it's in as well. Mostly, I'll have to do a different episode on racing and motorsports. But that's
going to be its own bit.
That's going to be its own thing. But again,
not that I don't think of that as sport, but I do think of that as sports adjacent.
Yeah,
not to diminish it.
Different.
It's just it is probably the most different.
Yeah.
Even though at its core, it's who can go faster and complete this in a shorter time, which is all sport. That's just competition.
Absolutely. But I think that it's like the sports has so much tie to memories and again, like where you are and who you're pulling for and stuff like that. There's nothing like being at a sports event surrounded by all these people who you have no idea, and amazing things happen, and you're hugging people and high-fiving folks you have no idea who they are. Like, it's just a cool, it's a cool thing.
Mind you, alcohol was involved, and I am a large human being. I'm larger than most. I realize that with my big hand, I give very hard high fives. I don't know if you've ever been the recipient of one, but without thinking, I fuck people up. Seahawks, Redskins, playoff game, RG3, before he got hurt. We were down 14-0.
It was Russell's rookie year.
The second we take the lead, this drunk guy comes up to me and says, high five. And because I'm intoxicated, I'm not thinking pull back because I'm excited. Literally, the touchdown just happened. Wow. Hit his hand. And do you ever know when you give somebody a good high five because the fingers match? There's no meshing here. And I was like, oh, I got him good. My hand kind of stings, but whatever. I'm grown. I don't care. He came back to me in the fourth quarter and was like, dude, my hand's still red. And it's throbbing. So, high five people all the time. Now I pull back. And they're like, see I score a touchdown here in the stadium. I'm like, yeah, high five. I'm like, hey, yeah. I do the Marshawn now. Yeah. I give him a little handshake.
Some Skittles.
Good game.
Yeah.
Oh, but sports is great. Here, I got a question for you, and you're going to hate it. You still play anything?
Do I still play? Wow, that's...
It says it right there.
That's true.
What do we play?
I mean, I did play in adult like baseball and softball leagues. Yeah.
What made you stop?
I shattered my tibia.
It's okay. I tore my calf.
I feel like I think we went through that in another episode, but yeah, I did.
Will you still play?
Yeah, I would. I don't know if I would now. Still post.
That's what I mean. After you get through the rehab. So mind you, will you tell us where you're at in your rehabilitation?
Actually, literally just this past week, I started like my first light running, and it was terrifying. Like, it actually didn't really hurt. It was like a 3.5, 4 mile an hour like jog light run. It was all up here when it started speeding up. I was like heart got kind of going, like wanting to hold on to things. Definitely a lot of it like anxiety for it. And it was an awkward kind of run. It's like a limp run, but not from a pain, but just from justifying on one side. So it was pretty crazy. I
Is that you saying that now because up here it's not back?
It could
If
be.
you got to
I
a
have
point
no
they put
idea.
you on the treadmill and you went to 10.
I have no idea.
Okay. I can take that.
I tell you what, I would only do it if I conditioned myself better ahead of time, because I think that was part of it. Because up here, I know what to do, and I have a lot of experience doing it, and was pretty good playing. Like my brain knows what to do, but I don't think my body was able to keep up with that 10/10 kind of mentality.
Or do you think it was just a bad step? I look at yours and I think bad step.
Maybe a little bit of both.
It wasn't like
I also just think I had bad knees, and that's not going to go away.
So then we talk about losing this, which, by the way, I'm down like 18 pounds.
Yeah, congratulations!
So,
I might have put it over here.
So I look at mine and I tore my calf that month. I was like, let's see when I can get back out here.
Yeah.
And I remember I would purposefully not bring my basketball shoes to the gym. So I was
you
able,
wouldn't do it.
when I got cleared, my cleared was in stages.
Yeah.
So I tore my calf, ruptured my plantaris, not my Achilles, thank God. Anyway, they were like, after a few weeks, once you get the motion back, like, you'll be okay to start stuff. He told me, he's like, your calf is always going to hurt. So I remember going to lift weights, and I was like, oh, I can do this lightly, and I'm doing it. And then one day I was like, I just want to see. But I had my running shoes.
Yeah.
And I remember just kind of just moving around the court and doing little pivots and stuff. And I was like, I'm not 100%, but I go, oh, this shit's in my head. I was like, this shit is clearly in my head.
It's definitely at the very least in my head, because part of me is like the risk reward, because it's not worth it in a way. Like that rehab and that kind of like pain and going through, I'm like, whatever I need to do to not have that happen again.
You know what's the scary part? Yeah. When they were talking about my injury, they said, we just had this dad in here the other day, and he was coaching his son's, like Little League type team, and he went to stand up and pop. And so I'm like, oh, so you mean to tell me this could be anywhere? And, doctors look at me and they go,
fair.
With the miles you have on your body, it's not if, it's when.
I mean, in all honesty, I said many a thankful prayer that it happened in deep shortstop and not running across the street.
Right? Oh, Lord.
And then going down, and then, so you're right in that it isn't sports specifically. Sports increases the odds because you're doing that type of thing and that type of motion. Absolutely. That's the whole point. So a larger percentage of the time, but
I am at the point in my life though where I will be sitting on the couch and just go, ow. And Emily's like, what's wrong with you? I don't fucking know. This might be it.
Oh, yeah. This might be it.
She's like, well, what's wrong? My back. And I'm like, I've never had a back injury. And I'm like, get up stiff. And
I got up this morning and I was like,
what'd you do?
And she was like, what's wrong? I was like, I just pulled something like my chest, my abdomen. I don't even know what it is. She teaches anatomy. She can tell me what the muscle's called. I don't care. It just hurt. But yeah.
I've got a couple of last questions for you.
Okay.
And I thought of these as we were going, and I was like, do I go get a pen and write them down? But now we got them. Favorite sports championship series? Favorite way to find that champion? So basically, favorite playoff structure.
Okay. So not a historical one specifically.
No,
but
favorite.
I think Super Bowl should be best of 7. No, it shouldn't. I'm just kidding.
Out of all the major sports, which do you like the best? Which do you think worked the poorest? What would you change?
Oh, that's tough. You know what? Maybe the best one is hockey. A 7-game Stanley Cup. Stanley Cup, I think, is probably the hardest one to win. I think it's. I also think hockey in general. That's an interesting question. Actually, it's the hardest sport. I think my wife and I had this conversation as far as and how would we define hardest is to me subjective. But if you took the major sports,
ESPN did this. And I think hockey, basketball, football were up there. I think boxing was number 1. For the type of movement that you have
I didn't include, but
I think boxing.
The major 4 and soccer. So basketball, baseball, football, hockey, soccer are to me that would be the top 5. And I think we had hockey and then soccer as 1, 2. Baseball, and I love baseball. Baseball at the bottom. Yeah. It's absolutely just when you consider
keep
hardest.
Going. I'm gonna find this.
Hockey to me is it's all of the impact of the NFL, but on ice at a higher speed, and you play 81 games, 82 games. That is insane to me. I do think best of seven usually lets the better team win.
Hockey number 2. Boxing, ice hockey, football, basketball, wrestling, martial arts, tennis, gymnastics, baseball, soccer.
Oh, wow.
Skiing,
Soccer that low.
alpine skiing, water polo, rugby, lacrosse.
Oh,
I mean, they go into it.
if they're going like...
But look,
like,
they go by the endurance, the strength, the power, the speed, the agility, the flexibility.
I mean, once you start
durability.
getting into some of those Olympic sports, for sure,
That's so dope to see.
Yeah.
But back to the playoffs. So you think...
I think 7-game series, a best of 7, is...
But are you afraid of the possibility of playing 1/3 more of your season? 1/3.
Oh, not in football. Not I don't think you should do that in football.
Hockey and even basketball, because they're both. Is hockey 5-7-7-7 or is it 7-7-7-7?
It's 5-7.
So NBA in the last 20 years
also, and I
to
think
7.
I think the NBA switched to this as well, which is way better than baseball, where they do 2-2-1-1-1. I hate the 2-3-2.
It used to be 3-2. Yeah, 2-3-2.
Like, to me, because if you steal one of those home games, you totally negate the idea of home field advantage. Now the road team has 3 straight home games. Yep. I think the 2-2 and then the 1-1-1 is the better, more fair way to do a 7-game series. I think 7 games usually proves out your better team winning.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But you can make that exact argument for a single game. You don't know. You don't know what's happening.
March Madness. March Madness is probably my favorite.
March Madness, that's a great one,
but
actually.
But because there are, I don't like...
Because the best teams do have to win several games to win it, but you can't lose any of them.
Can't lose a single one.
And it still lets you have those
68 teams.
That's actually a great argument. You may have swayed me. March Madness might be the best one. And the sad part is it doesn't work for all sports.
No, absolutely. You
basketball is ideally
college basketball.
It's uniquely positioned. Yeah, you could do it with pros too. Like you literally, if you had no, you could do a 16 or an 18 and do the tournament that way, I think. But college basketball is specifically because you have 14 million teams. What do you think about college football playoff as the top 4?
Because I have no thoughts on how to fix it, because I think someone will always be left out.
Yes.
I'm okay with where it's at.
Once you get to a certain point, though, I mean, like, even in the March Madness, like 65 will let...
I said top 4. I said, hey, the top 4 this year were phenomenal. And if you look outside of that, Oregon, Utah, was Penn State right on the outside of that too? They were like
I think
there.
so.
And I was like, they were all so good, but if you go any further, like you could tell above and beyond.
Yeah.
LSU, Clemson, Ohio State, like they were really good.
Yep.
So I'm fine with top 4. I don't think it's perfect.
I'm fine with I think top 4 is better than top 2. I would go is 6.
Like things like Clemson. Like how do we judge these strength of victories and who gets in a
tough.
one-loss team? That's where I have the issue.
Well, yeah, because when you have teams, you have your Alabama's,
LSU and Alabama
playing in an SEC, and then you have your Ohio States and your Penn States in a Big Ten. You have it's all very different for sure. I don't know. I like the March Madness one though.
Yeah, March Madness is my one.
We have March Madness coming up pretty soon. We should do a bracket.
We just thought about that right here live on the spot. Nobody gave us any sort of... Can we trademark that?
Yeah, that's true. My wife actually does a March Mammal Madness with her, with anatomy, physiology, or invertebrate anatomy classes.
Yeah. The last March Madness I did was top Kanye songs of all time. Just because it was always fun to look at his stuff. And I've done other artists as well. I usually don't do a March Madness bracket. Because it's so infuriating.
Yeah.
That's the one where I have multiple screens and every game on.
It's the fantasy. It's the fantasy football conundrum there. Yeah, it's you've just given yourself more reason to stress.
Literally that.
Yeah.
So March Madness is the one that... Yeah, so we will do it. But I watch it all the time. I'm like, let's go. I'm
going to pick mine by what mascot would beat the other one up.
Yeah. I know people that do that. Or which jerseys do I like better?
And infuriatingly, they're often more right.
Yep. But actually, and I just touched on the.
It's like, yeah, Tim in accounting, who's never watched a game in his life, won the freaking pool.
Fuck you, Tim. Nobody put 16. Nobody put University of Maryland. Fucking what were they called? UMBC, right?
Yeah.
They were like the Golden Retrievers.
Louisiana.
Beating Virginia,
yeah.
who then won it the next year.
Yeah.
Like nobody never has a 16 beat a 1, and that happened. But all right, last question for you. Well, it's a two-parter.
Okay.
Favorite jerseys per sport and of all time?
You mean, so uniforms?
Jerseys, yes. So,
Okay.
kits, if you will.
Yeah, because I
And-
would have to include helmets in that.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. I'm sorry. Jersey to me means uniform. And also least favorite schemes.
Okay. So, favorites. I love the Seahawks. That's actually legitimately one of my absolute favorite looks for Let's Go Football.
Which one? This one right now?
The current one. I think
one right
is
now, so-
I think is fantastic. I love the new Bucks helmet. I hate the rest of the uniform. It's terrible. Stupid alarm clock numbers. My favorite color is orange, so I'm actually really partial to the old Bucks kind of classic that I grew up with, the white and orange and red.
I love their Thursday night football creamsicle look.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
I know. It's good. The Bengals. I love the Bengals. So those are my like top.
In all of the sports?
Well, sorry, no, in NFL.
Okay.
I love teams like it's kind of polar on this. I love teams like Alabama and Penn State that are just screw you, everybody. We're going single color stripe numbers on our helmets, and then. I also love Oregon, who has 96 different uniform combinations.
Did you
carbon
see their
fiber,
helmets in the Rose Bowl?
reflective, stealth paint.
Yeah, like when the sun
invisible-
was going down and it reflected the pink sunset.
I think that is awesome. UW also has some amazing uniforms there. Like I love college football. You know, Notre Dame would be another really classic one, just like that look. Michigan as well. Worst ones ever. I hate things like
Cleveland Browns.
Grizzlies.
No, I love the Grizzlies ones.
No, I don't. I don't like that teal with the red. And also the Sonics green and yellow. Awesome. I love it. When they added that stupid burgundy red in there,
yeah.
I thought that
was
looked
tough.
awful.
That
That dark green and yellow and red just to me is gross. I don't like that.
Oh, I love the Grizzlies look.
Yeah.
Baseball. How do you feel about the pinstripes?
I actually love again
Classic.
the Yankees. It's super classic. I love that. I hate the Red Sox, but the Red Sox, again that kind of like old school kind of font and look. I love the uniforms. I love the Rays look, and I love the old Devil Rays, like the kind of crazy. The Diamondbacks look weird with
Do you
the
remember
weird
the
like
Mariners,
patterns
like,
and stuff.
Flashback, flash
Oh
forward.
yeah, the turn forward, the clock
Yeah,
ones,
turn
the
forward,
sleeve
the
cut
clock.
off
Oh my
sleeves,
God.
red.
Oh, that was so horrible.
I have the hat. I like the hat
hat was
with
dope. The hat was
the
dope.
compass rose on it. But and I love the Mariners uniforms now. Actually,
I like the teal one. I like the blue one.
Yep.
Those are my two. Gray, white's cool. Gray is whatever. And that's actually the jersey that I have.
What about you?
For me, for basketball, I loved those Grizzly jerseys, but not loved like that. But
Yeah.
the Raptors jerseys that actually had the Raptor on it.
Oh,
their first
yes.
jersey,
Love those.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorites. The Heat's Miami Vice or the Vice Knights
Oh,
jerseys.
those-
the pink one.
The Blood Dragon.
The pink one was my fucking favorite of all time.
Okay.
I actually got to see them, and they were wearing their Vice Knights jerseys.
Oh, there you go.
Just this past week.
There you go.
Football. I like the Seahawks. I'm trying to think of which other ones I like. Nobody does anything wild. I actually like the Thursday night uniforms.
Yeah.
The electric green or whatever it is that the Seahawks wear. I like
Action
it because
green, I love
action
it.
green. It's loud and it's brash and it's
know.
annoying.
Yes.
and
And
that's
we
my
win.
favorite part about it. Yeah, and we win with them. And I think that's cool in sports
Yeah.
is watching people do the weird bits. UW, I like when they do the black.
Yep.
That they've incorporated the black.
I like the white helmets actually too. Look really nice,
yeah,
really
the
clean.
white.
Same with LSU. LSU sometimes does the old white helmets with the purple gold.
Yeah.
Super good. Very classic.
Can't stand the Browns.
Okay.
Cannot stand the
They're
Browns.
also called
What
the Browns.
ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, I said something so messed up. I'm not going to repeat it here. I'll tell you right after. It wasn't that bad. I was
That's
in
for subscribers
Cleveland.
only.
I was in, yes. Except to our Patreon, our fans only. Well,
Stupid.
I was just talking shit, and I'm in Cleveland, and I wasn't really talking shit to anybody. I was like, man, their color's brown. And I was like, there has to be a reason for this. And somebody looked at me and was like, your colors are blue and green, Seattle. I'm like, yeah, but it fits our it fits
Yeah.
the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of blue and green,
Oh,
but
no.
I get why they picked it.
There's a reason. Yeah.
So why brown? And I said, because I'm brown, and nobody ever just goes and celebrates being brown. And I was like, brown and orange? And I was like, orange is cool, but these together.
It's like an
and it
Ohio
turns
thing
out
because
because
the Bengals and the Browns.
Yeah, the person who founded the team was
Yep.
named Mr. Brown.
Yep.
But God, I actually like them a little bit more now, like the jerseys. But
yeah.
they're still.
That's true.
It's like they're doo-doo brown. Whatever. That's it though. Those are my favorites. So I'm glad we got through it.
That's true. We did, and we got through this. We got through this too.
So are we done with sports?
We're never done with sports.
Okay, touche.
But for this episode, this double episode. So yeah. All right.
I don't know what's next. Neither do you. That's the fun.
true.
So we'll see you next episode. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. It stopped.
Whatever.
Yeah.